go back-to-back years drafting a quarterback. Usually, granted, Arizona just did this like a year ago.
And then the Panthers did a while
back. I
back.
can't say that they never do it, but
Is this a move for Miami?
Miami's the only move Miami would be able to make is going up to first, but
the Chargers.
the Bengals won't even.
Well, I guess they should hold on
Burrow.
because the Bengals are probably going to take one, and the Redskins, depending on what the Lions want to do, if they want to keep Stafford or not, and then the Giants have a young quarterback in their system right now, so
yeah, they're not drafting.
So there's number 5.
But
so
the Chargers need a quarterback.
Maybe.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of talk too, and I won't get too much into this. There's a lot of talk too of maybe Josh McDaniels moving and a Tom Brady moving to LA.
But even then, you can't give Tom Brady more than 2 or 3 years. You got to eventually draft a quarterback to replace
but you
Rivers
don't have to
or
draft it this year.
True. The Panthers possibly need a quarterback.
I don't think they're sticking with Kyle Allen if they do part ways with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I don't think Kyle Allen's the guy.
I mean, they have Kyle Allen, Greer, Cam Newton.
Yeah, not to mention you just got a new head coach. I think they're probably the biggest if they give up on Cam Newton.
And then it wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots, if Tom Brady does leave New England, they could trade up and grab they could draft Tua.
Honestly, this whole draft scenario depends on where Tom Brady goes. If Tom Brady leaves, I think it blows it up all over the league because everyone's starting to move around and grab what quarterback just came off the market, right? So,
yeah, be pretty interesting. We do got just a quick little bit of time left here. We just have just real quick. We have new hirings. The Panthers might rule. Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys and Joe Judge with the Giants. Is any of those guys that you like, you dislike?
I've been saying it for a while. I like Matt Rule. I like the opportunity that he's getting. From what I've heard from his experience in college, I really like it, and I think he has the potential to be really good in the NFL. But there's been a lot of college head coaches that come in and stink it up.
Yeah,
one of them being Nick Saban. So we'll see how that turns out for him.
Nice. Well, we're about to go to break here, and right before we go there, we're going to talk about a little b-ball, a little puck when we come back from the break. Please stick around and see who we're talking about.
Hey Colorado sports fans, you're listening to GoMileHigh.com, a student-operated station live from the Colorado Media School studios here in Belmar, giving you a different perspective on all things current.
Stop torturing yourself, man! Live in the now!
So stay tuned to see what's coming up next on GoMileHigh.com, Colorado's sports lifestyle.
Showing!
Hey Colorado sports fans, you're listening to GoMileHigh.com, a student-operated station live from the Colorado Media School studios here in Belmar, giving you a different perspective on all things current.
Stop torturing yourself, man! Live in the now!
So stay tuned to see what's coming up next on GoMileHigh.com, Colorado's sports lifestyle.
Showing!
Every day, across this country, hundreds of college radio stations take to the air, broadcasting music and programming that you won't hear anywhere else.
It's one of the last places where people can really be able to actually say what they want to say.
Without it, you wouldn't have a place for local artists to perform. Certain people need to have a chance, a fighting chance, and college radio is that place for it.
College radio changes the lives of those who are involved with it and can change those who listen to it too.
This is where we start out, from getting all this great experience working in college radio. It makes you want to work in real radio.
College radio means finding yourself. It helped me find what I wanted to do in not only school but in life.
So support college radio by continuing to listen to this station and supporting the students who make it happen. College radio, now, more than ever. A message brought to you by this station and the College Radio Foundation. For more information, please visit collegeradio.org.
I'm taking it.
Welcome back to the Press Box on GoMileHigh.com, a part of the On Air Network. I'm still here with Matt, Andrew, Caleb, Sally, and Armando behind the glass. So as I said right before the last break there, we're going to be talking about little Nuggets here. They play the Mavericks at 5:30 on ESPN, so the whole nation can watch it. Andrew,
hey, Comcast can't say no this time.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, Matt, first. What are the keys to the game tonight?
The keys to tonight's game. I really wish it was this simple. I know it's not just going to be this key, but my number one key is stop Luka Doncic. Kristaps Porzingis is out for tonight's game. He will not be playing.
Officially?
Officially.
Okay.
So you obviously don't have to worry about the length and rebounding that he provides, as well as the three-point shooting, the spreading out of the inside in the paint. I want to say that, but the last time the Nuggets lost to these Mavericks, they held Luka Doncic to under 10 points. So it's like, is that the key to winning this game? You know, like the last time we held him to his worst offensive night of his career, actually, and they still get a W. So I really want to say that it's stop Luka Doncic because I think this game's going to be different, but our bench has to play better. Our bench has to play better overall in every game, not just this game. You can't get outscored 92-32 and expect to win a basketball game. That was the worst bench performance I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. If they do something like that again tonight, it's going to be a blowout. It's not even going to be close. It doesn't matter what you do with Luka Doncic.
You know, this is one of those games that we talked about this a lot yesterday. This is one of those games that you have to win. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to beat the teams that, especially without Porzingis. Like, this is one of those games where they're not a bad team, but without Porzingis, they're a different team.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those games where you are the number 2 seed. Act like it.
Right, because as you said, Porzingis is out. Will Barton is out tonight. Yeah. So to that bench point, will we see more Porter? Will we see more Torrey Craig finally? Because I think he is a little deserving of a spot, at least coming off the bench. Paul Millsap is day to day, so he may or may not play. So would you like to see more Porter or Torrey Craig out there tonight?
MPJ.
Michael Porter all day, baby.
Even though he's not really good on defense compared to Craig, that could stop Luka.
I mean,
you also have Gary, so I mean, as long as one of them is on the floor,
yeah.
You know, like I feel like Torrey Craig is more of a, if Gary Harris isn't playing well, isn't getting any shots to go down, is just playing regular defense, isn't like, you know, getting 5 steals in the first half or something, then Torrey will kind of bump up the minutes and you'll see him play a little bit more. But I think the coach starts MPJ. I think he plays him more because, I mean, the kid played 23 minutes and he had 25 points the other night. That's
pretty awesome.
I haven't seen a rookie do that ever. Like, I don't know, since LeBron James probably, honestly. So I think Malone is, not that he didn't respect him, but has given him a little more respect. He thinks he's earned this right to actually start maybe in place of Will Barton.
I mean, he's the most prolific scorer that I think Denver's seen in a while.
Since Melo, probably.
I mean, seriously, this kid has, like, top 5 scoring potential in him, and we've seen sparks of it this year just alone. Like, I mean, was that a couple nights ago, like the step back, where the amount of separation there was just ridiculous.
Well, he gets so much separation originally, and then the defender still even closes out on him, and he has like 0 space, and he still hits the jump shot out. It's gorgeous.
Like the amount of scoring upside in this kid is ridiculous. I haven't seen a kid like this in a long time, especially here in Denver. It's been, I mean, we've seen sparks out of Murray and sparks out of Jokic, but I mean, this kid is special.
Yeah, like
he needs to play. I mean, he might even have those defensive deficiencies, but the other guys on the court can make up for those deficiencies. Especially with MPJ, the amount of scoring output he has, it kind of negates the defensive issues, so to speak.
I would say it's probably the most exciting since probably Carmelo Anthony's been here, and the way that he's produced numbers. And
I just thought about this. I feel like he's very similar to a Ben Simmons with a jump shot. Like, that's why I think I'm so excited about him, is because he can attack the rim, he can lay it up, but he can also stop on a dime, take a step back, and shoot from 15 feet away and hit that. Whereas Ben Simmons doesn't really do that in his game, and he's looked at already, even though he's not having the greatest year, as a superstar. So it's like, if you can do the same things he's doing and then put on top of it a 3-point shot and a step back, a mid-range game, then he's going to be top 5 in the league. Exactly like you said.
There's a lot of pressure on MPJ too to be that guy. I mean, from media, from just the team, from the fans. But from what I've seen so far, like he's stepped up to the pressure, and he's provided what this team needs when he gets the minutes.
Yeah, now we got to wonder if he does make that full step, right? Once the national media starts looking at him, is he going to start fading back from what he's doing, or is he going to keep taking these steps forward? And because that's really how you become a superstar, is you play these 25-point games, win 23 minutes on ESPN and on TNT and things like that. So, because nobody's watching outside of Denver and Fort Collins and stuff, nobody's watching altitude, right? So, like, you have to show up on the national televised games, and that's a lot of the reason why Murray and Jokic aren't such superstars yet.
Right. And then, as you saw, Jokic, he's kind of been on the rise. He's looking like in his old self. Who do you think is going to have a better triple-double stat line, Jokic or Luka tonight?
That's a good question.
Because I think Luka will still have a triple-double no matter what. I think Jokic will have more points, but I don't think he'll have the assists or rebounds that Luka will have.
What's your definition of the better stat line, right?
Like 30
overall, widespread, or is it if he has more points, it's a better stat line?
Points, rebounds, assists, kind of like all combined.
All combined?
Mm-hmm.
So the better overall stat line.
Yeah.
So if you just combined all numbers together and it's like, 37 and 39, you'll take the 39?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say Jokic because Kristaps Porzingis is out, so I think he'll get a couple, 3-4 more extra rebounds out of that. Plus, they assist at about the same rate, which is insane given that Jokic is a center and Doncic is a point guard, basically. I'm going to take Jokic tonight.
I'll also take Jokic. Doncic doesn't have his co-star in the lineup, so there's going to be a lot more. You can pressure him a lot more than Jokic can, because if Jokic gets pressured, he can always pass it out to Murray or MPJ if he's on the court. Meanwhile, you really can't do that with Doncic. He doesn't have that other dominating presence that you can block.
Right.
I'm gonna say Luka because superstars out, and Luka already has a high usage rate. People are all trying to give him this credit for how many points he's been scoring, and it's been incredible. But his usage rate is incredible. He is amazing. I mean, he has 36% of the team's possessions each game. So I mean, now without Nowitzki, it's going to increase that 36%, and I mean, it's just going to pat his stats a whole lot.
Yeah, I could see that definitely, especially with how he's been playing recently in the last few games.
Yeah,
he is on fire. So I wouldn't be surprised to watch Doncic, drop like 50 on the Nuggets tonight, but I also wouldn't be surprised.
Knock on wood now.
I also wouldn't be surprised to see Seth Curry go out and drop like 7 threes in this game, because the Nuggets' 3-point defense is horrific, man.
Right.
Plus, it always seems to come from the nobody, like the lesser name guys when they're playing the Nuggets. Like they always like Harden. They block Harden well, but then the secondary guy comes in that like nobody's looking at, and all of a sudden drops like 45 in the first quarter.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that we're calling a Curry a lesser known name, but you're absolutely right. He is the lesser known name of the team.
Right. Well, let's switch over to the other hometown team, the Avs. They played the Rangers last night and lost. Was it 5-3? But we do have some sound of an interesting moment last night.
Let's get ready to rumble! Brady Shea off the bench, Donskoy. Oh, and he is absolutely obliterated. Oh, goodness gracious me. That is a rough hit by Lindgren, and Kadri and Lindgren are going to go. Right by Kadri, another right by Kadri. Oh, he gets 3 and 4 and 5 rights in by Kadri. Another right by Kadri. He's absolutely destroying Lindgren. Another right by Kadri. Lindgren's helmet is off. And Kadri sticking up for his teammate as Lindgren absolutely destroyed Jonas Donskoy, and Kadri says, I'm having none of that.
I want to thank Altitude Radio for that one, and especially Steve Nelson for that special edit. Thank you so much. That makes it more entertaining for us here at Go Mile High. But yeah, last night was not good for the Avalanche all around. Let's just start off by the hit that you heard there by Connor McGahey. Lindgren was coming in on a play, good, solid defensive play, trying to play the body, but instead his elbow got high and it hit Donskoy right in the head. And Donskoy's head had a whiplash, and it was ugly. And right now Lindgren is talking to the NHL Players Association, and wouldn't be surprised if he got fined and suspended. What that's going to be, we don't know, since this is probably his first offense. This will probably be a 2-game suspension. Fines are kind of iffy, but probably $50,000, I'd say, safely.
No, Kadri's the one that fought him, right?
Yeah, now...
Is he going to get in trouble, or is he
no,
off the hook?
Kadri's fine. He was doing what he was supposed to do. He was stepping up for his teammate, and which was great. And Lindgren is going to get 2 penalties out of this one, because not only is he going to get fined by the NHL and suspended, he also took a beating from Nazem Kadri.
He should have gotten 3 penalties, if we're being honest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a clear penalty. I don't know how the refs missed that one last night. I don't.
Well, and I was listening to the radio, so I got it from this side. So this is what I heard last night, other than the "Let's get ready to rumble." But I heard this side, and I was like, "Man, alive, what happened?" So I didn't get to hear NBC's side of it, but from what I've heard from people who did watch the NBC side, they were like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. This is clean. We're great." But it kind of almost looked like a Corey Perry hit that we saw just the other night.
Yeah, it was very similar. Honestly,
and,
that's a good comparison there.
And so we'll see what happens, what the NHL does. I was just telling myself the whole entire game that the NHL is going to take care of this. The NHL is going to take care of this, and they are. We got to be patient.
Well, to kind of give some perspective to the NBCSN part, I listened live to the call on with Connor McGahey as I'm like pulling up into my driveway to get home, and I went inside and they were on the intermission report at that time, so I'd like just gotten in there, and the intermission guys, I honestly don't remember their names, were basically saying like, this is dirty, this is bad. They needed to have a penalty on that play. Yeah, like he's gonna get fined, suspended, all this stuff. And then it went to the game, back to the Pierre, whatever his name is.
Pierre Maguire.
Yeah, and he was like,
very European name, by the way.
Yeah, he was like, it's hockey, and I'm just like, no, come on, that is a leading with a shoulder to the head. That is not supposed to be in hockey any longer, and I'm so glad that Kadri stuck up for his teammate and went ham, man.
Quickly before we go to the break here, Brandon gave me an article from The Fan, and it was talking about the fight, and he's like, the fight was unnecessary. And I totally disagree, because the fight was necessary. Because if it wasn't for the fight, then where's the team at? Nobody's sticking up for each other. There's no leadership. It's bad. I'm glad Kadri stepped up and did what he was supposed to. It just stinks that the team didn't step up after that.
Yeah.
Because all the team did was just like, oh great, you fought. We're just gonna play same sloppy hockey.
Plus, fighting is hockey is the one sport where fighting is allowed.
Yeah.
I'm down for as many fights as they want, personally. So.
It's going to be gone pretty soon.
So, but next game, Pittsburgh at the Pepsi Center. Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Nice. When we come back from the break, we have another scandal. So you want to stick around. This is the Press Box on GoMileHigh.com, a part of Beyond the Air Network.
Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from the sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070. Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from a sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070. Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from a sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070.
Welcome back to the Press Box on GoMileHigh.com, a part of Beyond Air Network. There is some smoke, not in just Australia, but in Colorado. I know.
Too soon, man.
Too soon. But
Too soon, meaning it's not even over.
Yeah, right. There has been some trade talks, as you guys may have known, with Nolan Arenado. It's not looking too promising for us.
Bye-bye, Nato.
Yeah.
It was great while we had you, but the stupid Rockies owners can't even get proper talent in here to help the team. So
yeah.
How do you really feel?
That's my hot take. It was great knowing you guys. I'm known for coming back on here, do that hot take. So
there's been rumors of Atlanta, maybe Philly. Is there any other teams that I'm missing, Andrew?
New York, right? Or L.A.
So I want to preface this by saying I don't think the Rockies are going to end up trading Arenado. Really? I it's torn because, you know, how are you going to treat a dude like this, not even a full calendar year after signing him to the extension of probably all of last year?
Because you gave him an opt-out in 2 years, so, like, you don't really have a choice because he's going to opt out in a year or whatever.
But you're both going to alienate your fan base and your current stars.
I'm not sure they're too worried about that, given the past decisions that they have made, i.e. the rooftop instead of.
This is like
this
is like trading away Todd Helton in Todd Helton's prime.
Ooh, no.
Yeah.
No. Only. Because,
how is it no?
Only because that was like a. Baseball wasn't even a thing in Denver until Todd Helton was here. Like, everybody knew.
But I'm talking about in terms of like caliber of star, like what he means to the current fan base. Like Arenado is the face of Colorado baseball, and honestly one of the top faces of Colorado sports. And then right now, if I'm Trevor Story, and you know the Monforts want to come to me with a contract extension, and I see how they're treating Nolan Arenado not even a full year after his extension, I'm not re-signing.
I'd re-sign it if it doesn't have an opt-out. Literally, the opt-out is the only thing that's hurting this whole thing. Is because if he doesn't have an opt-out, he's stuck here for 5 years, and he's not even being talked about being traded. It's because he has the option to dip out on Colorado in, I think it's 2 years now.
Here's the scenario: is he gonna stick this out? Like, I think of that 2017 season when the Avalanche got 48 points and Landeskog, McKinnon, all of them said, yeah, we're staying here. We're not going anywhere. Does Nolan Arenado do the same thing, or is he the Matt Duchene that causes issues and asks for his way out?
I think it's a little different only because it's right now not Nolan Arenado's decision to get traded.
It is his decision, though.
Well, yes.
He is a full NTC.
I'm meaning like he's not going to go up to the Monforts and say, trade me.
Okay.
They're going to come to him.
They're going to come to him and say, we have this offer from the Cubs for blah, 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 blah.
So then,
and he'll
that
decide
blah, 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 blah. He's a high prospect.
Well, I bet the Monforts think that for sure.
So that's what I'm talking about, the ownership. They're doing a bad job, and we can get onto that later. That's where they should be
that's like an entire show's
Yeah.
worth of conversation. Right there. I mean, they hand out the worst contracts to free agents I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, between them and Brightich, man,
Brightich
it's like,
is so bad.
I don't know why we're not called a dumpster fire, honestly, because
Could
of what
we-
we end up
Because the Baltimore Orioles exist.
I mean, would this be bigger than Troy Whiskey getting traded?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because half the fan base wanted Troy Tulowitzki to get traded, and the other half the fan base doesn't know anything about baseball, so they were like, no, we want Troy. Like, that was a end of the career thing. There's people that wanted him to be traded when he was in his prime, which I kind of understood because it's kind of similar. It's like you have a great player, but you're going nowhere, so you might as well get what you can back from him to start the rebuild.
You also have a
rather
great
than-
player who plays like a third of the games in a season, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if Troy Tulowitzki's
That was huge.
always health, like if he never gets hurt, then that's a different conversation. But the fact that he's always hurt and an aging superstar, just get what you can for him.
But then when you end up trading him, you pick up back the salary of Jose Reyes of like $7 million, and so you ended up making a worse trade than you ever could have for trading it. So
And they got no
understand-
prospects back that were
yeah,
like.
yeah, it was literally Jose Reyes and like a couple of people that haven't turned out into anything.
Exactly.
So actually, I think who was their starting pitcher? Peter Lambert. I think he was
Pete
a part
Lambert?
of that trade.
Okay. So, I mean,
so like
even
one
then, like
one starter, quote unquote, probably a fifth starter too for the
I
Rockies.
mean,
like that's
sixth,
it
I'd
wasn't
say.
good. It wasn't a good trade. But that's I think why some of these Rockies fans are on board with this whole trading Arenado thing, because if you can get actual pitchers that you force to stay here because they're under contract, it makes sense. The only problem with that is there's a trillion minor league pitching prospects. Like no one ever knows who the real one is going to be.
And I was that's what's going to be my next topic.
Unless you're Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, right. That's like been
that's
the
only other thing that could save, that could keep Arenado here, is if you picked up few key pieces, and that would be pitching for one, and probably a first baseman.
None of the top pitching free agents are ever going to sign in Colorado.
No. Agent. He's talking about prospects for sure. I mean,
Both. Let's just talk about both. If we could get a couple of good free agents, that would be
that would
be great.
Joke there, man. That's a great.
I know,
joke.
and I know
pitching free agents in Colorado.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know.
Dude, the top thing that pitching free agents deal with is their statistics and how they do.
Mm-hmm. I know.
That goes completely out the window out here in Colorado.
And I'm aware of that, and it's.
I mean, look at Wade Davis.
Yeah,
Wade Davis was a good reliever. Now he's.
Well,
he's
he
Wade
was
Davis.
good on the road, just not at home.
I mean, he was all right on the road.
Well, even if you go back, like I guess this might have been pre-Humidor days, so it's even worse too. But like Mike, I'm spacing Hammond.
Wow, that's a name I haven't heard
yeah,
in a while.
Yeah. I'm talking '90s stuff. Like he was top 5 pitcher in the MLB at one point. He comes to Colorado, and it was like, man, that was like the worst career or the worst years of his career. So
I think some of the other issues between last year too wasn't just like the pitching had its moments. Like it was good, it was respectable, even at Coors Field. I think some of the issue was the batting. I think
it really was.
I that's why I say if they could get a few pieces, at least a first baseman and maybe an outfielder that can hit the ball and play defense, then the Rockies actually could be in contention again.
The rumored thing with the Rockies outfield is they're looking for a dynamic young center fielder,
which is great.
You need it because
Charlie Blackmon's
takes. Well, plus it takes.
He's not a center fielder anymore.
It takes years off your career to play center field at Coors.
Yep.
That outfield is so huge.
Yep.
You can't take the same angles you can at
any other ballpark.
I was going to say Fenway, but that's dramatically different. Like even just Wrigley, something like that, or any other park other than Coors. Like it is so wide. You have to have a young, quick. Like I wanted somebody like, not now, but Pilar or like
KK.
Yeah, just
Kevin
anybody
Kiermaier.
fast, man. Anybody that can cover ground. I don't care what your bat is in center field at Coors necessarily. I care about.
It's gonna look better. It doesn't matter how you do it out everywhere else. If you bring in a bad hitting center fielder, he's going to be a decent hitting center fielder out here in Colorado.
Exactly.
Let's get real.
Exactly.
So,
but you are right. We do need a first baseman. But the real thing is like those Desmond contracts and all of these terrible contracts we have. Wade Davis.
Yeah.
They're just looming over the Rockies.
Oh, I know.
So teams that right now would be in on Colorado on Arenado, just real quick. Our teams that are most likely going to end up missing out on Josh Donaldson, the last big name hitting free agent third baseman. Teams that are in on him right now are Atlanta, Washington, and Minnesota. Minnesota's probably on the farther outreach of Donaldson. The rumors are he doesn't want to go there at all. I mean, who would? But so right now, the team that loses out on Donaldson will most likely be in on Arenado. I've heard St. Louis. I've heard Chicago. Texas, the Rangers are most likely going to be in on Arenado if the Rockies decide to pull the trigger on that.
Boy, talk about an upgrade, though. Like, trying to get Josh Donaldson, not end up getting him, and then being like, oh, Arenado, sweet. Like, oh, man. That's awesome.
Seriously, especially with a much older Josh Donaldson for 4 years, 110 mils when I'm looking at what he wants. Yeah, it's like 27 mil a year.
Ooh, I don't know that he's going to get that from anybody.
I'm sure he will. Between the fight between the two division rivals, and you have the World Series champions and the team that won the division last year, the Braves. I mean, they're going to keep pushing the price up for each other to get him, especially if he doesn't want to go to Minnesota. It comes down to those two teams.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Well, there's another topic that kind of has happened in the last couple days. Another scandal in the World Series department. Allegedly, Boston's kind of used the Astros method almost, except trash cans.
They just weren't dumb and used sound, you know?
Yeah.
Like if there's one thing the public can figure out and go back and find out if you're cheating, it's banging on a trash can loud enough for every mic in the stadium to pick it up.
I will say this about it, though. The Red Sox were using their video replay room. At least the Astros were being creative on how to cheat.
Well, think about this, though. Can you really track when they went back to the video replay room and looked at what specifically, like...
I'm sure there's video cameras
this
somewhere.
Is one thing. We're not going to get a John Boy breakdown of this, you know? Like the Houston Astros, you got the John Boy videos where he's breaking down every single, here's where they banged, and here's why it's a curveball, and here's why it's a changeup.
Yeah.
But, like, he's not going to do any videos. We miss out on a giant scandal of John Boy videos that are so... just great for Twitter and MLB, just period.
I do want to say this real quick. I was assuming that once the Astros 2017 thing became a thing, that the 2018 Red Sox were going to be caught with this just because, you know, the correlation between Alex Cora being the Astros bench coach the year before and now he's a World Series champion manager with the Red Sox. You know, no surprise that that's going to be a thing. And this is also the Red Sox second time being caught using
in 3 years. Like,
yeah.
It was back.
Well, it was the year before. They were caught with the Apple Watches in 2017.
Yeah.
The very next year, like, I can also see them being slammed even harder now with all of this.
Hopefully all of them get slammed hard, man. I'm done with this cheating stuff. It's league-wide, too. It's not even just these two teams.
Yeah. When we come back from the break here, we're going to be reshaping Mount Rushmore with the boys here. Please stick around. This is The Press Box on GoMileHigh.com, a part of Beyond Air Network.
Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from a sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070.
Every day, across this country, hundreds of college radio stations take to the air, broadcasting music and programming that you won't hear anywhere else.
It's one of the last places where people can really be able to actually say what they want to say.
Without it, you wouldn't have a place for local artists to perform. Certain people need to have a chance, a fighting chance, and college radio is that place for it.
College radio changes the lives of those who are involved with it and can change those who listen to it too.
This is where we start out, you know? From getting all this great experience working in college radio, it makes you want to work in real radio.
College radio means finding yourself. It helped me find what I wanted to do in not only school but in life.
So support college radio by continuing to listen to this station and supporting the students who make it happen. College radio, now, more than ever. A message brought to you by this station and the College Radio Foundation. For more information, please visit collegeradio.org.
Colorado sports fans, you're listening to GoMileHigh.com, a student-operated station live from the Colorado Media School studios here in Belmar, giving you a different perspective on all things current.
Stop torturing yourself, man. Live in the now.
So stay tuned to see what's coming up next on GoMileHigh.com, Colorado's sports lifestyle.
Showing.
So I'm taking a trip over to Tibet, see the sights, climb a hill or two. But I remember, oh man, I got one guy out here who I actually know. So I give an old ringy-dingy to the Lama.
What?
The Dalai Lama, his laminescence, flowing robes, the grace, bald, striking really. I says to the Lama, hey, you remember that round I caddied for you down in Shangri-La? Well, apparently some station out in Lakewood taped the whole thing. See, the Lama's a big hitter. Nailed 2 eagles in a row that day. Well, he says, what station could have possibly gotten all the way out to my sacred holy lands, the Shangri? I says it was none other than GoMileHigh.com, Lama. They got the best sports coverage in the state. The Lama actually tips me this time, 2-1. So he pretty much stiffed me again, but I got him hooked on GoMileHigh.com, so I got that going for me, which is nice.
That's great.
GoMileHigh.com.
Welcome back to the Press Box on GoMileHigh.com, a part of Be On Air Network. We're all sport fans here, and I'm also...
Wait, I'm a sports fan?
You kind of look like
Crap.
Yeah,
Wait,
right.
the guy wearing the powder blue St. Louis Cardinals jersey isn't a sports fan? I'm sorry.
Hey, the Marvel convention's on the other side of the room.
Yeah, sorry. This is the press box.
Yeah.
Crap. Man.
Wrong radio show, bro.
Yeah. I know you've been kind of going along with us, but
yes.
Hey.
Maybe he didn't even know. He thought we were talking about Marvel this whole time.
Yeah.
And he's just spewing facts over here about
Nolan
Wait, the show
Arenado.
isn't about Star Wars?
No.
Dang it.
Nolan Arenado isn't Darth Vader. What?
Yeah. And there is no hope.
So yeah, love sports, love movies. So we combine the two, and we're gonna rank our Mount Rushmore of our favorite sports movies. I'm gonna start here. We're gonna pick 4 and go around the table. If you pick, and if you pick one movie, you can't use that one. So I'll start here. I'm gonna say A League of Their Own with Tom Hanks. It's a great baseball movie. I think it has one of the best quotes in it. There's no crying in baseball.
A League of Their Own.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably my 4th favorite movie. Matt, what is your 4th?
My 4th, I'm gonna take Major League.
I hate you so much.
I knew I had to take a 4th because somebody else was going to take it. I love that movie. That is like, that's a good movie.
That's a good one. Andrew.
Fine. Major League 2.
Yeah, right.
Hey, fair enough.
Let's go Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Love me some Adam Sandler. Man, and that whole movie was funny.
Man, I wish I would have thought of that one because I would have brought in some drops from Happy Gilmore.
My number 3 is The Replacements. It's Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman. It's early Jon Favreau. Actually, a little testosterone Jon Favreau in that movie. But that's just a good movie for me. Matt, what is your 3rd?
I'm gonna take The Longest Yard.
Old or the new one? Is the old Burt Reynolds one? Or the Adam Sandler and then?
Yeah, the Adam Sandler one. I honestly didn't know there was an older one than that, but I guess I'll have to go back and watch it. But that movie, I love. I love the actor. Oh, he's in like 1,000 things. Terry. He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, yeah.
As soon as you said Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I'm like, I'm right. I got you, bro.
Yep.
I got you.
He's like one of my favorite actors ever. I love when
he's just a good dude.
Throws
too.
the burger on the guy on the ground.
Yeah.
I can't say what he says on this radio show, but
FCC regulations.
Yes,
you know?
yes, exactly. But go ahead and go back and watch that movie. It's great.
Best McDonald's moment, I think, in that movie. Andrew, what is your number?
Just to make sure nobody else takes this before me, a lot of people consider this the greatest baseball movie of all time. It's 1 year older than me. Field of Dreams.
Ooh, nice Iowa movie.
I like this because, well, I guess I don't like it because of this. I like this pick, your pick, because next year they are playing the Field of Dreams.
The White Sox and the Yankees.
But I'm so upset about it because the real Field of Dreams, They aren't even playing it on. They're literally making a replica right next to the real field. It's like, why not just play on the real field?
Because it's not Major League Baseball sized field.
And
And a team bunts, and then it's like, oh, hi, bye.
All right.
Especially with the juice ball, like
fair enough. But I
every
feel
hit
like
would
they
be a
could have
home run.
updated the actual park instead of just making a replica.
But then
right
you're
next
messing
to
with
it.
history right there by updating
Okay,
it. That's
I
that's
guess,
dirty.
Kayla, what is your number 3?
Another funny movie, Cool Runnings.
Oh, the Jamaican bobsled movie. That was a good one.
That is kind of surprising that Jamaica would make it to the Winter Olympics when they're a Caribbean
I know.
island.
What is winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go bobsledding today.
So I feel like this is where it gets a little cutthroat, I feel like, between some people. My number 2 is White Men Can't Jump. It's a perfect basketball movie.
Honestly, I forgot about that movie until you just said that.
I
haven't seen that in so long.
I mean, Woody Harrelson just plays, just the best. Like, oh, I'm not the best basketball player. I'm just, kind of like a bum. And then he's go out and balls and plays like a little Luka out there. So that's my favorite basketball movie.
Yo, Woody Harrelson's a hustler in that movie, man.
Big hustler.
Hey, I don't know if you guys heard this, but the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon.
Say again?
It's the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon. It has Tony Danza in it. He's a garbage man, turns into a field goal kicker.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I have not heard that.
I don't know, but that was one of my favorite. I knew it wasn't going to be brought up, so
I'll have to go check that one out. That one sounds funny, man.
For sure.
Matt, what is your number 2?
My number 2. I took a long time to figure out if this was number 2 or number 1 for me. My number 2 is The Sandlot.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love.
Kill me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls. I also, I'm a. Clearly, you can't see me, but I'm a bigger fellow. So when I was younger, I was called the Great Hambino after Ham in that movie. He's the big catcher in the movie. He's the one that calls his shot to center field and all that. So I've just always loved that movie. That's one of my favorite movies ever, and I had to bring it up in this.
Yeah, all-time classic child movie for me too. That's a good one. Andrew, what is your number 2?
I was pretty safe with this pick. I don't think anybody has actually seen this movie. Maybe not. The Natural, Robert Redford.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's honestly one of the best baseball movies there is. It's such a good movie. Josh, give me the thumbs up.
I'll have to go look at it.
Like it. Robert Redford. He gets shot in the movie. He is this high touted prospect. Gets shot early on into his career and then comes back 10 years later. Nobody knows about him. It's a movie where he hits the home run that smashes the lights.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's from that movie?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's such a good movie.
I've seen that GIF 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to go watch that. That's awesome.
Caleb, what is your number 2?
Remember the Titans.
Yep.
I knew one of you was gonna pick that movie.
It's not quite my number 1, but it's definitely a great one. Another. If you can't tell, I like funny sports movies. Other than if somebody takes my number 1, which is not so funny, but
I'm gonna take your number 1. So you better be prepared.
I'm gonna.
Have another one.
It's all right. I got a couple other ones.
Okay, good.
My money's on Matt.
Because I know I go before you. Well, I know what movie you're taking. So.
I have a couple runner-ups though. Like one of them's Invincible.
Oh, you should have saved it. See, that's gonna be your number 1 now.
No.
All right.
Gonna steal signs over here.
And then my favorite movie or sports movie of all time is Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, Jamie Foxx, Wheelie Beeman. That's just I don't know. I feel like it goes into the real life of what football players go through. I thought it was beautifully directed, but that's my favorite sports movie.
You know what this is making me think? I'm gonna say this because we got a little time. I think we should have a night a month that we sports people get together and watch our favorite sports movies. Like one person picks their favorite. And we all sit
I could
down
do
and
that.
watch it. I'm totally down with that. I haven't seen 3 or 4 or 5.
Once I'll go to Zach's house.
Real quick.
So did we get yours?
Yeah.
Your final one? Okay, so my final one is Miracle. It is my favorite sports movie of all time.
I'm with you on that one, but I'll pick something else.
Andrew?
42. Pre-Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. Great movie. So it's so historically accurate too. It's like
Caleb, what is your favorite?
Another, I think it's funny, but The Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
Yes, I forgot about that
The
one.
Flying V.
Yes, but yes, my first overall would be Miracle. That movie is just so awesome.
Wait, did he actually take your pick?
Yeah, he did.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Miracle was it's just such a great story, and go ahead watch the movie because you'll be touched for sure. Do you believe in miracles?
Yes.
I want to thank Andrew, Caleb, Matt, Armando running the board, our PD, Josh Dover,
and Sandy.
And Sandy. We will see you guys tomorrow on Thursday. Peace.
Out.
Go to.
Colorado Media School, hands-on learning in one of the most exciting career fields out there. Internship opportunities are limitless. We have 3 on-campus radio stations, 2 TV stations, and you'll have the opportunity to participate in projects like doing play-by-play live from a sporting event or the 48-hour film project. We have after-graduation career placement assistance and financial aid for those who qualify. Check us out online at coloradomediaschool.com, on Facebook and Instagram, and CO Media School on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also call 303-937-7070.
Every day, across this country, hundreds of college radio stations take to the air, broadcasting music and programming that you won't hear anywhere else.
It's one of the last places where people can really be able to actually say what they want to say.
Without it, you wouldn't have a place for local artists to perform. Certain people need to have a chance, a fighting chance, and college radio is that place for it.
College radio changes the lives of those who are involved with it and can change those who listen to it too.
This is where we start out, from getting all this great experience working in college radio. It makes you want to work in real radio.
College radio means finding yourself. It helped me find what I wanted to do in not only school but in life.
So support college radio by continuing to listen to this station and supporting the students who make it happen. College radio, now, more than ever. A message brought to you by this station and the College Radio Foundation. For more information, please visit collegeradio.org.
Hey Colorado sports fans, you're listening to GoMileHigh.com, a student-operated station live from the Colorado Media School studios here in Belmar, giving you a different perspective on all things current.
Stop torturing yourself, man. Live in the now.
So stay tuned to see what's coming up next on GoMileHigh.com, Colorado's sports lifestyle.
Showing.
So I'm taking a trip over to Tibet, see the sights, climb a hill or two. But I remember, oh man, I got one guy out here who I actually know. So I give an old ringy-dingy to the Lama.
What?
The Dalai Lama, his laminescence, flowing robes, the grace, bald, striking really. I says to the Lama, hey, you remember that round I caddied for you down in Shangri-La? Well, apparently some station out in Lakewood taped the whole thing. See, the Lama's a big hitter. Nailed 2 eagles in a row that day. Well, he says, what station could have possibly gotten all the way out to my sacred holy lands, the Shangri? I says it was none other than GoMileHigh.com, Lama. They got the best sports coverage in the state. The Lama actually tips me this time, 2-1. So he pretty much stiffed me again. But I got him hooked on GoMileHigh.com. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
That's great.
GoMileHigh.com.
Play ball.
This is The Blitz with Daniel and Dylan. GoMileHighSports.com, part of the Be On Air Network.
Play ball.
This is The Blitz with Daniel and Dylan. GoMileHighSports.com, part of the Be On Air network.
Welcome to The Blitz. I am Daniel Whetstone with Dylan, Zach, and Matt. We are here today for y'all. Actually, it's been a wonderful day today. The weather's been amazing the last couple of days. How have y'all been enjoying your days?
Good. Get my education in, hanging out, talking sports.
Get to use the new studio.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, this is actually my first time in this new studio, so I actually really like the setup here. The little round table we got going on. Knights of the round table. Yes. Yes.
We dance whenever we are able.
It is absolutely epic. But let's go ahead and jump in here, guys. We're going to start off. It's going to be a lot of football today, guys. So if you're down for football, great. If you're not, well, you're just going to have to deal with it.
Or you can leave. We don't want you if you don't want to talk football.
Right. So first off, we're going to start off with the NCAA football playoffs. One of the biggest surprises wasn't actually a semifinal or even who got into the final. To me, it's going to be the Washington-Boise State game. That kind of threw me for a loop to see Washington come out and have the defensive performance that they had against Boise State. They had 4 picks, 2 were returned for over 50 yards. They only had 200 yards passing from Jacob Eason and barely had 118 yards rushing as an offense, but yet still had a 31-point win.
Yeah, they played that in Vegas too.
Yep.
We saw a lot of Boise State fans in our hotel, everything. It was crazy. I didn't see the final score of the game until later that night, and all the Boise State fans kind of weren't that happy.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Right, most definitely. So what kind of surprised you out of these bowl games there, Zach?
The one that kind of stood out for me just a little bit was the let me find it real quick. Oh, man. Come back to me real quick.
The one that was for me was just Ohio State blowing the lead. Ohio State blowing a lead, man. Just like their professional team, the Cleveland Indians, blowing the lead in the World Series. And then you got the Cavaliers who threw in the finals for those 4 years.
Oh, poor Cleveland fans.
They just can't catch a break.
Oh, then they also punched Myles Garrett in the face. So, I mean, I guess they kind of get what they deserve.
No, not even punch. You hit him with a helmet.
Pillow tap. No. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about Myles Garrett.
I know
Rudolph.
what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the fan that punched Myles Garrett in the face after taking a selfie. Yeah, because he gave him a pillow tap.
Yeah. The one that stood out for me was the Sugar Bowl, because we always talk about should the league or the college football expand to 6 or 8, and I think 6 is a good number, and Georgia and Baylor were on the outside, and they could have been in the 4. So to see these guys go head to head and see who was the better team, I think a 6 playoff would be way better than just having the 4, because then you can have that bye week. But
it'd be a lot more entertaining too.
Yeah, that
get more games.
And you can at least split that one other game into this ridiculous wait time that we have between the semifinal and the final. 2 weeks? Like, are you serious? Come on.
It's kind of like what they do with the Super Bowl, But in between, we have the Pro Bowl.
The last Monday before the national championship game, it's let me get this exact so I don't get it wrong. It was Miami of Ohio. It wasn't even Miami. And where was the other team? I'm trying to look at it.
Oh, I actually watched this game. Miami.
Yeah, I watched some of it too, and I'm forgetting who the other team was now.
Yeah, it was Miami of Ohio and Louisiana Tech or something with the Raging Cajuns.
Yep. Yeah. Louisiana in the Lending Tree Bowl. It's like, really? Is this the January 7th or 5th game or whatever matchup that we want to see?
So we got to have all the bigger bowl games that we need to
Well, that's why you have the New Year's 6, so you can't change the New Year's 6.
Oh, no.
That's for sure.
Right.
But why not have a top 25 team play that day instead of Miami of Ohio and Louisiana? I get it probably got ratings because it's college football, but I feel like they would get more and probably even more in the national championship game too if they had consistent football every single Monday.
Maybe throw that Auburn-Minnesota game in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that was a good game.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue into our next topic. Is there too many bowl games? I 100% agree with this. Like you say, in the Lending Tree Bowl. So we're literally having payday lenders sponsor bowls.
Yeah.
What is going on in this world that you have these ridiculous? I think there was another one that was some weird internet company that nobody had ever even heard of.
That
was
just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like two. What's that?
The Camellia Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
The
I don't get it, man.
Cherry Bundy Boca Raton Bowl.
Yes.
The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Yes.
The
Like, what's a
RL
Gasparilla?
Carriers
right.
New
Oh,
Orleans Bowl.
you don't know?
Please enlighten us,
I
Zach.
thought everybody knew.
Top of the line lawnmower. You get to sit in it.
But
Dude,
what?
it's a peak.
But
Did they mow
what's
the
a
field with one of those
Gasparilla?
before the game?
That's the question. I get what a bad boy mower is, but what's a Gasparilla?
I would
that a
assume it is
real-
a drink, but it's not. A
Yeah,
drink.
that's a
sarsaparilla,
sarsaparilla,
yeah.
and we have a sarsaparilla
I know,
bowl.
right, I know what those are. Yeah, we have one of those. But I'm 100% with you. There's way too many bowls. I really think it needs to be pared down to the point where it's no longer where you have to be at 500 to get into a bowl. Because I honestly hate that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and the losing team in those bowls, like, how crappy do you got to feel? Like, yeah, I made it to a bowl game, but we still suck.
Yeah, it was the Notre Dame game. It was like 10-2, and they played the 6-6 or
6
7.
and 6 team, yeah.
And it's like, Notre Dame's gonna smash on these guys. Why even put them in a bowl game? It should be, I think, top 25, and then that is it.
Yeah, that's
Notre
what I was
Dame,
thinking.
Iowa
You go like all the top 25 teams get a bowl game, and then the 4 that are in the college football playoffs.
Well, they'll be ranked
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah, but I'm saying like you get those like they're in their own spot, but then they have the rest of those teams that get those nice bigger bowl games. Unlike Big Boy Mower Gasparilla Bowl.
Yeah.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, yeah.
Gasparilla, Lending Tree, or I think they have a PlayStation Bowl this year.
They had a
Yep.
potato
There's a
bowl.
red
Yeah,
box
potato,
bowl.
I know,
Potato bowl.
potato bowl. That's an old one though.
Yeah,
That's been around
That's the one
since
Wyoming.
time immemorial.
Wyoming won that a
It's
few years
always
back with Josh
played-
Allen.
Yeah, that's why it's played in Boise on the blue turf.
Yeah.
That's where it's
The
always
Belk
been played.
Bowl?
Is the Belk Bowl.
Yeah.
Like what is a Belk?
Yeah.
Can anybody tell me what a Belk is? I know what a belt is. I have one of those.
I think all of us have a belt.
Right? But I still don't know what a Belk
The
is.
Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl. Like,
There's nothing smarter in Birmingham. Period.
Welcome to Birmingham.
I mean, Cheez-It Bowl. Like, it's just, what are we doing?
We're just gonna snack down today.
Yeah, did you see what they did with the Cheez-It Bowl? They dumped the coaches that won in Cheez-Its. Is
Yeah,
that what it
and
was?
then
they
dumbest
dumped
thing.
water on top of that.
Yeah, and then
so
they
then
dumped
they're
water
covered in like
in soggy Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
That's
It was
Like,
bad. It
and you
was
can't
really
even eat the ones
bad.
that you catch. Like, you just
That's
ruin
gross.
it.
No, the
So you
the
got
coach,
soggy
I
old
forget the
white
coach's
men
name,
and
but
soggy
he actually
Cheez-Its.
he didn't look happy for sure. He was not happy.
Why
With
the heck are all these Cheez-Its
But
on me?
But at least he reached. I thought this was hilarious. He reached down and grabbed a Cheez-It off the turf and ate the Cheez-It.
Oh.
I'd rather eat it off of turf than actual
Dude.
grass with paint on it.
Like
Oh, it was so
I
funny,
need
though.
somebody to go back and listen to Mark Schlereth talk about the things he did on the football field and then play that video.
Yes, dude. I love what he used to. That's
You
just
almost
the
make
best
me
stories.
throw up over here, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you just about made me throw up. I think I feel it in the back of my mouth right now.
It's like soggy Cheez-Its is like the equivalent to like soggy cereal after you let it sit for a while.
That's gross.
This
Yeah.
is so epic.
It's like
We
you got
started off
soggy
with football.
Frosted
Now we're
Flakes in
talking
there.
about
Soggy
soggy old
Cheez-Its.
white men and cheese. How did we get to this place, people? Oh yeah, that's right. We're a bunch of white men and we're together.
And we're talking about the stupid bowls.
The Cheez-It Bowls. Although in the Cheez-It Bowl, did you guys see the little timeouts were little Cheez-Its? Like the
Yeah, I
little,
did
little
see that.
icon
Oh,
of the
there
timeout.
was
The only
I
good
thought
thing that
I
came
hate
off
to
the
use
Cheez-It
this,
Bowl.
but yeah, it was cheesy.
There
I
you
did it.
go.
Hey.
I did it.
Doors right there.
I'll show myself out.
All right, I'll be taking over for Dan while he's gone.
Welcome
Dan
to the
is in
Blitz.
the corner of shame. Now we can segue
It's his
from
last
soggy
week, so we just
Cheez-Its
kicked him out.
and insufferable bowl games to insufferable winners. And by that I mean, and I'm sure you all know, Dabo Sweeney. We are going off into the college football playoff final that is finally showing up this Monday, the 13th. So we have Clemson versus LSU. We have the insufferable winner against the angry orange or tomato, whichever color he decides to turn at that moment, and Orgeron. So to me, I believe this is going to be an all-timer. This has all of the makings to be an absolutely epic game.
Mhm.
You have two complete teams that play both offense and defense at a very high level. I do believe, though, that Joe Burrow just has something in him this year. There's something special about this. His dad just won $500,000 off of his Heisman. It's just going to keep going for him. I believe that he is going to go in and just absolutely obliterate Clemson.
It's going to be a great game, and I'm just hoping it's not turning out like Alabama Clemson last year, where we thought it's going to be the closest game, greatest game. It's going to be better than 2017. It was just a blowout. And I think LSU is like Clemson has like a chip on their shoulder. Like they are playing for back-to-back, the first ever back-to-back national champions,
and they're not even
in the college football playoff, and they're not a 1 seed. But you go on with LSU offensive coordinator's daughter-in-law that died. You know, that'd be a nice, cool story for that. But I think we're gonna see a really close game. I'm excited. I don't know who I want to win because I like both of them. We got two great quarterbacks that